Shep,
Hey.
so.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
All right.
Entrepreneur and reality TV star Shep Rose sat down with Wando's Tribe Talk for an exclusive interview to discuss his entrepreneur endeavors, social media influence, and the future of his businesses. This is the extended interview of what will air on the senior episode of Tribe Talk.
So you started your own clothing brand, Shep Gear. How did that kind of come down?
Well, we're here in the alley, and I'm an investor here. This is sort of a long, circuitous route to how that happened, but let me try to best explain it. Love it here. Then I opened up another place called the Palace Hotel, and then another place called the Commodore, and we started to do hats and shirts out of the Palace Hotel. And my business partner, he's a good guy, he's a friend, but he was like, oh, I want creative control over all the different designs, and I was just like, well, I'm paying for them, and I have a big platform via Southern Charm and just my, I guess, my reach on social media and whatnot. I was like, I kind of want to be in charge of what I'm selling, all due respect to everybody involved. So I was like, I'm going to do, maybe I'll, forget about my bars and restaurants that I'm involved in and just do things that I think are cool. So so I said, okay, and I designed this hat. I helped design this hat. It's the Bravenel Bridge with the Charleston skyline on it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I just put it out there and people liked it. But actually the first one I did is I was in Montgomery, Alabama, and I found this American flag hat that was like, the patch was patched on, this blue hat. And I was wearing it around and people were like, that thing is dope. So I started making them. And then and this is sort of the design. I made them in green, I made them in pink for girls, and blue and red. And so that was the beginning. And so then I made the Charleston hat, and then I made this shirt, for example, Appalachian Mountains. Basically, I do things that are like, I guess you could say, close to home. My family has a house in the Appalachian Mountains, and I love it, and I've spent my whole life there. So I'm doing all other sorts of things too, but nothing that I wouldn't wear myself. That's sort of my rule. And I'm making a shirt right now that says Detroit on it. It's just like a gray shirt. I don't know why, but I think it's because I bought one like that in Chicago one time going to a Cubs game, and it said Detroit. And everybody's like, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, just do things that are fun, ironic, weird, and cool. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta ask, what was the inspiration behind the dad bod shirt?
Oh, right. Well, I kind of have one, a dad bod. And it's kind of one of those funny terms, and I said, oh, maybe that would be cool to put it on a shirt. So we worked on a design, and people loved it. And then I did another one that said tan fat equals muscle, and that one sold like wildfire. We made that for women and men, and honestly, it's not like I'm getting rich off of it necessarily. I'm definitely more than breaking even, which is always a good thing. But it's more like a little creative outlet for me. And for example, I was in Chile recently, and I was walking out of a restaurant, and this guy was wearing this sick shirt. It was a button-down short sleeve and had like little buses and surfboards and palm trees and flamingos all over it. And I was like, I would wear that. That's really cool. So I took a picture of the poor guy, and I'm like changing it up to palmetto trees that look like the ones here, and other things, and I'm gonna remake it and sell it. So I'm always looking for inspiration, which is kind of cool because you walk around and you're really paying attention, and if you see something that's really cool, you know what they say, good artists borrow, great artists steal. So I'm sort of feel bad, but not really, because because I've seen a dad bod shirt that looks a lot like mine from another company, and of course I'm not going to do anything about it, but it's all good, So that's how it all got started, and I really am enjoying it, and it's ancillary to my TV work, and yeah, it's all good.
So you said that your clothing inspirations has to do with home. Is there something that Charleston adds to your clothing business, or just any business that you run at all that you can't get anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel bad because I got this Appalachian. I'm working on a design that encapsulates the Low Country. And I don't know what I want to do yet. I think it's going to be like a meandering creek with docks or something cool. There's a design out there. And then like another one, for example, I was in Hawaii and Kauai surfing with some friends, and we were listening to the radio, and this guy on the radio was like, "Spread the aloha, brah," and we were like, "Spread the aloha." We kept saying it and laughing about it, so I made a hat that said "Spread the aloha." Again, it's just like little things that make me laugh, or that I think is funny, ironic, or cool. And of course, I'd like to incorporate Charleston as much as possible. Now, you know, the South Carolina flag is a little ubiquitous and a little bit too much, so I would probably stay away from that. They're just everywhere, on belts and ties, and I'm just like, nah, I don't want to do that. So try to be a little unique and differentiated.
All right. So I've noticed you're very active on social media.
Yeah.
Do you think that social media kind of helps you run businesses? Is it like a big aspect?
Yeah, I would say so. Now, it's hard to quantify, but I don't know. Nobody really knows. All I know is that people approach me all the time to help them out with their product. They send me, I told my mom, I'll never have to buy another article of clothing for the rest of my life. I get sent boxes of free stuff, and it's great. And I try to help everyone out that I can. I really do, especially friends. I'm a big believer in this phrase, "a rising tide lifts all boats." So I want to help as many people as I can, although it is like literally last week I started to say, you can't do this for everybody. It's getting a little out of control. Now, some of my co-stars on Southern Charm, they do ads on Instagram for this and that, some HelloFresh or this. I don't do that. I don't want to sell anybody anything that is just not my personality. So I'm not saying that what they do is wrong. They make money off those. I'd rather keep myself sort of in my own lane and have it as organic as possible. So that's just my philosophy.
So you said that your clothing brand is almost like a way for you to express like your artistic side, or like something that you're passionate about.
Totally.
What made you want it to be the clothes that you express it through? Like what is this passion for clothes?
Well, listen, I don't dress very well. I don't think anybody would dispute that. But I've got this. Well, so my agent and some other people, when I first started doing Southern Charm, were like, you've got to capitalize on being on TV. And I said, oh yeah, okay. What does that mean? And of course, there's a housewife on Bravo that did skinny margaritas, and she made like millions and millions of dollars. So I was just thinking of things, and I don't know anybody who makes tequila offhand, or anything like that. Of course, there's a lot of different ways, but I thought this was a fairly simple way, and I have a friend who's in the clothing business, and he really helps me out with the minutia and the details of ordering and design and shipping. Because the first hat I made, I sold 250 in 2 days, and I all of a sudden had to ship 250 hats individually. My whole house was filled with boxes and labels. I was in over my head. So I learned quickly that I needed assistance.
Has this new business venture kind of been fun for you?
It's been a lot of fun, and when I'm filming, I don't have enough time to do it, and so I've hired and got the assistance of some friends that are really cool and are really into it, and I think it's helping their business out a little bit, and they're getting to talk to people maybe that they wouldn't normally talk to, and I've got some help. Now that we're done filming, I'm able to devote a lot more time to it, and I really, really like it. I've just been texting my designer. I think he's annoyed with me, honestly. I've got like 7 different things. I'm like, dude, let's get on this. Time's a wasted. So I like it quite a bit.
So you kind of mentioned earlier that a lot of your design is based off like stuff at home, like very Charleston-y stuff. Do you see Shep here kind of going into a more formal direction in the future?
Yeah, I actually do. I've had the devil of a time coming up with a logo. I just refuse. I won't wear anything that has my name on it. I don't know. My friends would kick my ass, so I'm not gonna do that. So I'd want a cool logo that somehow incorporates the brand. And when I do that, I'll have like a zip pullover, and I've got this Guayabara, this shirt that's it's a Cuban shirt. It has like a embroidery and all these pockets. I'm making that. That's going to come out in the spring. I'm coming out with that button down with all those little things all over it. So I've been told that organic growth is the best way. Don't try to do 50 things. I've got hats now. I've got a couple cool t-shirts that I like. Do that. Do it the best of your ability. Get a few things that people like, and then you can kind of make the next step. So I'm gonna take it fairly slowly.
So you're invested in a lot of barbecue places around Charleston, and you started this new clothing brand of Shep here. Do you see yourself moving kind of away from the food and bar scene and moving towards the retail scene?
Emphatically, yes. This business will drive you crazy, so I don't recommend it. Although, yeah, I do. Look, it's been a lot of fun. I know all the bartenders and the waitresses, and I come in and we're all hugs and high fives, but at the end of the day, it's just, there's a lot of moving parts, and I don't know. I love that I've done what I've done, but I doubt I will get into more food and beverage. The apparel business, the margins are phenomenal. Like, you have no idea. It's pretty cool, and I try my best to keep prices low. I really do, because I don't want to screw over people that think that something's cool. So I could charge more. My business partners are like, you need to charge more. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So anyway, that's how I feel about that. I don't know where I'm going to go next. I've got a couple other investments and some other things that we could go into and probably bore you that they're doing quite well. So, the goal is, my dad always told me, is if you're lucky enough to have the best possible scenario is to be able to make money when you're sitting on a beach. And so that's the goal, it's called mailbox money. It just comes in the mail. And that's what I'm trying to build towards. It's going okay so far.
So earlier you mentioned you started out selling Shep Gear products out of the Palace Hotel.
Yeah.
Do you think that a actual Shep Gear store here in Charleston is in the future?
Good question. We've talked about it. I don't think we have enough product quite yet. We're already in 4 or 5 stores in town. I just went to Skinny Dip right on King Street. Some girls from Nantucket. They had a store in Nantucket that was very successful. They opened one on King, and I picked up a couple hats. I was like, hey, I need these. I'm about to go talk about Shep Gear, and so they were cool enough to give them to me. And so I'm there. I'm in another place, Daniel Lash. I'm at a place out in Mount Pleasant. That's good enough for right now, I think. But yeah, maybe in the future.
What is the end goal for Shep Gear? What do you want to accomplish?
I think anybody in that business, in the apparel business, well, there's 2 possibilities. One is to keep going, growing, getting new products. I have a friend there's this company called Johnny O, and they're that symbol with the guy with the surfboard. You see them with the collared shirts, and it's kind of like golf, but it's also kind of cool. They keep expanding. They make blazers and jeans, and I don't think I want to go that far. So the other goal is to get bought out, by a bigger company, and have them. They have a little more know-how of the business, of how things work on a larger scale. And I think I'd probably be interested in that. Now, how much I'll get bought out for, we can only hope that it's a lot, but who knows? I enjoy it right now. If I did get bought out, I would probably structure a deal to where I held on to some equity and some input, because I really do enjoy it.
So do your fans of like the Relationship and Southern Charm, do they kind of inspire some designs for Shep Gear?
Totally. So on Twitter, so my friends recently, my friends were like, you should make a shirt that says Craig is my lawyer. Craig took him like 5 years to pass the bar exam. He's quite a piece of work. And he's still, anyway. And so we made one and it flew off the shelves. So now a person on Twitter was like, you should do one about Cam on the show, because she's always saying the phrase Hot Mess Express. So me and my designers got together and made a shirt with a train pulling through that says Hot Mess Express, and it says all aboard on the back, and we're about to roll that out. We'll see if it sells. So yeah, I listen to everybody, and I'm also watching what else I think looks cool.
All right. And lastly, if you had to tell anyone, or if you had to give anyone advice on starting a brand, what would you tell them?
I would say, look, the first step is the hardest to take, always, but just take it. Like, take a risk. Now, don't take too much of a risk. Don't take out a huge loan, but that goes back to the growing organically. You know, you have one good idea, two good ideas. Sorry. Give it a chance. Put it out there. If people like it, then go a couple more. Don't try to do everything at once. Don't roll out 30 things, because you're probably going to regret that. So slow, organic growth, grassroots kind of stuff.
All right.